Hey everybody, it's Ixie. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm starting a new series where I'm going to break down a song in 1 hour live on my channel. And if you'd like to support this series and continuing, then you can leave a comment or ask a question with a super chat in the chat. So today, for the first video or live stream in this episode, in this series, words! Uh, we're breaking down A Kiss from a Rose by Seal. I have mentioned this song a couple times in some other videos, like, this chord's so amazing. You know what song uses it? Kiss from a Rose. You know, it's one of the best songs ever, Kiss from a Rose. But I haven't sat down and actually, really deeply listened to it the way that I do and break it down. And I just have to say, first of all, this song, it was kind of a musical revolution for me. I heard it when I was I think I was 9. Pretty sure I was 9. Heard on the radio. And I was just like, okay, well, this is pretty much the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. I didn't know songs like this could exist, or it wasn't classical, but it was so beautiful and orchestrated, but it was pop, I didn't know human voices could harmonize quite like that in this setting. And I don't know. I would cry listening to it. I just thought it was so incredibly beautiful. And Seal's voice just was so unique. It still is. So I begged my mom to buy me the CD. And this was from the second Seal album called Seal. And she did. And at the same time, I bought Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. So those are my first 2 CDs, and I listened to that CD over and over again. I still love this song. I think it's a total masterpiece, and I am so lucky to have been gifted a ticket to go see Seal last week when he was in town, and I'd never seen him live. I never thought I would, and it was amazing. If you're thinking about maybe going, you should go. It was more than just a great live show, Everything sounded really good. Trevor Horn, the producer, was playing bass, and he kind of helped direct the whole tour. And it sounded great. Backup singers, the drummer, 2 drummers, the guitarist, the keyboard player, and a bunch of them have been playing with Seal for 30 plus years. And Seal sounds amazing. It was so good. But he also is kind of like an angel, and he floated into the audience multiple times and held people's hands and spoke about the human condition. And it was amazing how you could unite, hundreds and hundreds of people. Maybe I don't know how many people were there, honestly. So it was amazing. And he's spicy. He's got I don't know. I'll just say that he's velvet and spice. So it was really, really fun. The last thing I guess I'll say before we actually start the breakdown is that I know that this was used in Batman Forever or something. I did not know that until this year. I'd never seen the music video. I had no idea it was affiliated with Batman whatsoever. That's kind of weird to me. So I hope, you can divorce, I guess, that association if it's weirding you out. But yeah. Okay, so let's break down the song. God, I don't know if an hour is going to be enough, honestly. I do have more time today than usual, so maybe we'll just keep going. Because, this is not only a feat of arrangement, but compositionally, it's also pretty complex. I mean, it's a pop song, but it's got some really, really cool stuff going on. If you've ever been listening to it and you're if you know stuff about music, you might have thought oh, this sounds kind of major and kind of minor. And yes, it's flip-flopping constantly, which is one of the things that makes it so dramatic and so beautiful. But the melodies are the variations, the vocal layering. And then I think the production is really, really nice. I think him and Trevor just really found some magic together for this album and beyond. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's listen to it. I'm hoping that if I just play the whole thing, it's not gonna get the stream blocked. If I get a warning, I will stop it. So apologies in advance if that's jarring. But let's just spend 5 minutes.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby. To me you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. There is so much a man can tell me, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain. To me you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Now won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much in there. So that's the first time I've been listening to this song since I was 9. It's the first time I've listened in that way of like, okay, let me see if I can hear everything going on every moment. And I just heard a bunch of new stuff I've never heard before. I'm pretty sure I just heard like a harpsichord at the very end. And that makes a lot of sense because there is this sort of, I don't know what era. Some people think medieval. There's a little bit of, that little flourish. Yeah, that gets medieval, right? Like a lute or something. So there's probably so many layers here that, without talking to Trevor Horn, we might never hope to uncover. But let's try. So okay, let's approach this methodically, or not. I was like, why don't I focus on the production and then the harmony? Nah, let's just go from the beginning to the end. So after listening to this song now for, pretty much 30 years, I feel like some of my favorite things about the song are Seal's variations. The way he just subtly will change something, a melody that came before is a little bit different every time, a little note change, a little rhythm change, a little hesitation, a phrasing thing. And also how thematic it is. There's so many like recurring themes that get passed around in a very like cinematic or orchestral way. And I mean, instrumentation wise, right? You've got kind of this soulful rock instrumentation, but you also have some actual, orchestral elements. There's an oboe, which is a very mournful, I feel, very mournful kind of voice-like instrument. There's strings. Those strings at the end, there's those so great. And there's a guitar that definitely sounds like a lute. There's a flute, a lute and a flute, and probably more. Okay. Luckily, the version of this song I just found has been slightly pitched either down or up to match our standard tuning now, because the original was a little sharp or flat, can't remember. And so if I were to try to play along with it, it sounds out of tune. So this will sound mostly in tune, which is really great. So the first part, I mean, this is what captivated me, was just these vocal layers. And there are a lot of Seals right here. So it starts out with just a few of him. Other than any sort of double tracking, right? There's just harmonies. So you have the main melody, the I love this ba-ya-ya. What a great, what's it called? A vocable? That's just, apparently it was him trying to imitate like orchestral instruments. It really does feel it. Ba-ya-ya, ba-ba-ba-ya, ba-ya-ya. But then he's got, because this isn't like, well, you could think of it as a waltz or 6/8, depending. But you got groupings of 3 beats. And you could hear some of the Seals on the left channel are doing sort of a classic like waltz pattern of like da ga 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 ga, like pa 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 pa. So they're holding the time down, but okay, there's 3 groupings. There's a melody, there's the ba 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 ba, doing the beats 2 and 3, and then there's a harmony. Then there's more. So there's just so many layers. It would take us a long time to suss out every layer, but that would be a really, really cool project sometime. That would probably take me a while. But you can hear it starts with just melody, then ba, ba, then the harmony, then low, and then there's beautiful line which I hadn't quite sussed out before. It goes ha, I think. Listen for that one. Yeah. Ha, ha, and the way he goes ha, is so great. But there's also a very, very low Seal. Oh, almost at the end of my range. And then the instruments come in. So then there's a piano and the oboe. Then all the seals and this like lute. So just progressive layering. The piano chords, I think, sounds like. See if I got that right. Oh yeah, and I have this. I haven't figured out how to crop this program I'm about to put on my screen. So it's going to show the whole program. Really, what I just want to show you is the keyboard. But until I figure that out, it's not that one. Sorry, like that. This way you can at least see the keys. I know it's a little small. Maybe I could like scoot over and it could be a little bigger. Is that gonna work? Oh, no, that's me. Ah! Yikes. How do I make you bigger? Okay, I don't know. So, yeah. What? Oh, hang on. Something's weird about that. Wait, it is G. I'm trying to play a B flat major chord. Oh, it's saying A sharp. Okay. Well, it's really A sharp. I mean B flat. Anyway. B flat major. And then the C major to sort of this open G. Flat 3 chord, 4 chord, and then open G. And that open G, by open I mean it's neither major nor minor the way the piano's playing it, but you can hear Seal filling in the open gap here with his voice. So da 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 da. That second chord didn't sound quite right. Hang on. I want to be accurate. Oh, maybe it's F. That's what it is. My bad. There we go. There we go. My bad. It's a B flat to an F and then a C. Da, da, da. So why does this sound so beautiful? Other than the melody itself just having such a gorgeous flow to it. The chord progression is dancing between major and minor. So if we were in the key of G major, we are in the key of G in this song. Okay. G major sounds like this. Sorry, let me start higher. Okay, it's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. That's major. But the first chord is a B flat major chord, not a B chord. It's B flat. So this chord doesn't come from G major, but it does come from G minor. And that's even the da da da. G minor, G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, not F sharp, and G. So this chord comes from G minor, and then the F chord also comes from G minor, but then the G major is from G major. So this is what people refer to as mode mixture. And why is it called mode mixture? This took me a second to figure out because it just didn't seem intuitive. But another way to refer to scales essentially is modes. So it's like if you, yeah. Maybe I'm actually not the right person to explain that. But I only need to, I guess, take away is that like if you take chords that come from a major key and then you take chords that come from the same notes minor key, you can call that mode mixture. There are other ways you can refer to it too, or modal interchange is another one I heard from Rick Beato, and or just modal. But the way I always experienced it as a kid and still do is this collision, I guess, this dramatic collision of major and minor. And we all know major and minor, you know, they tend to have different emotions that come from them. You know, I mean, even if we can agree on the specifics, major tends to sound more confident, more self-assured, more stable, almost like it's brighter sounding to a lot of people. And then minor sounds a little bit more fragile, or maybe a little bit less stable, maybe a little less secure in itself. And it has a little bit of a colder, darker sound because the note went lower. And he's going to play off of that direct contrast during my eyes become... Oh, wait, that's what... Did you know that when it snows? So we'll get there. Anyway, that's the quick explanation of why this song is so good. So he's outlining all these chords, and then the guitars come in to kind of echo his melody. The chords on the piano are played to kind of shore things up. And I don't know if the bass comes in until the actual verse. So pretty. Okay. Now the verse and the bass does come in. I love that kind of being withheld. The bass is so powerful. If you withhold it and then you give it to everybody, it's extra potent.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill.
I love that descending line. Okay. So I always thought the phrasing here was a little weird. Let's kind of figure that out. Like,
there used to be a graying tower.
Then. See, this one's slightly sharp of the piano, but it's doable. It's not terrible. There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like there's like an extra measure or extra few beats or something.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just the way it's phrased.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains.
Okay, I'm not crazy. There is an extra 3 beats in some of those phrases. So there's this elongation, right? Or like a persistence of some of these chords. And the chords change. So instead of it being the B flat major to the F to the G, now we get my favorite chord of all time, the flat 6 chord. There used to be a graying tower, that one, tower alone on the sea. And it just goes between these 3 chords. So now we got the E flat chord, which is so great. Not D sharp. I don't think this software likes mode mixture. I don't think it gets it. See, AI will never replace humans. Okay, so this chord progression is just rife, I guess, with beauty. It's bursting at the seams because you got this major tonic chord, the flat 6, and then goes up to the flat 7, and then back home. This is like the sound of the song, right? This is in so many of the parts of the song. And the way the melody, though, interacts is incredible. Okay, so we get suspension sound. Holy, there used to be a graying tower. And that, I remember putting in some video because that's just incredibly beautiful. Tower, the notes he's singing there are both creating tension against the chord. So it just feels like something's gonna give, you know. Tower, I think it's a seventh and a ninth. Tower, tower alone. Then you feel resolution on the sea. And then at the very end there, he kind of does this little dip and he resolves to that major third that makes this tonic chord so, thinking of a rose, how funny, bright, and like, just feels like it blossoms, right? On the sea. I love how he kind of delays it. See. Then you remain, or became. Which one's first? You became. Probably became. You became. Yeah. You became. So I love this line. The way it falls down. It goes, there's a seventh in there. I think it's the first. That one. Right. And this is the seventh from the major. This is from G major. So remember that. You became the light on the dark side of me. Variation. Love remained. So it's the same kind of pattern, right? Da 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 da, but it's just higher, different part. I can't reach. There's a suspension sound in there, that like kind of holy sound. A drug, that's the high, not the pill. Da 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 da. That line, oh, it has a little edge to it. That's this note. And the bass, and maybe something else, they do this little dance right there where they descend. Let's see if I can find it.
Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill.
They just go down the scale, but it's so great. Love remained a drug. Nope. A drug. Nope. What chord is it? I think it's this one, maybe.
Love remains.
Why is it out of tune now? I guess it was always out of tune. It just sounded more out of tune later. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, sorry about that. I guess it is still a little sharp.
The light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug.
Okay, so. The bass is doing it, but I feel like there's something else following it down, which I love. That kind of relationship, like they're connected.
Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just the acoustic guitar kind of harmonizing a little bit with its strumming. I don't know.
High and not the pill.
Anyway, I love that. I love that melody. Okay. And then drums. The drums are so tasteful here, right? You get the little cross stick. It's just very like here, here, here. It's kind of tidy. It's not getting in the way. You know, it's very, what's the word? Starts with an S, but I'm forgetting right now. Subtle, maybe?
There used to be a graying tower alone on
Just keeping
the
time.
sea.
That's all it's doing.
You became
That little that's nice. Okay, and then
the light on the
bass is so
dark side of me.
satisfying here. Just
Love
roots of the chords
remains
until
a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows?
I mean, I particularly remember the first time I heard that part. Did you know when it snows? And I think at that time I did know what major and minor was. And I was like, oh my God, you can just switch like that? Like just right in the same part, just, you know? So he goes, did you know that when it snows? So he just goes from the major to the minor. But because chords, when they're major or minor, if you add a seventh on top, so see how it's like evenly spaced. If I add another one of these, it's called a third. Okay. If I stick to the G major scale, I get this, and it's a major seventh chord. So it has all the properties like a major chord, and then the seventh itself also is bright and major, so it's very major sounding. So that's what he's singing down. Da, 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 da. Then he switches to the minor version, which is like this. When it snows. So he had to change 2 notes in there to make that work. And I mean, from the interviews I've seen, he wasn't thinking about these things. It's just all very intuitive, right? Did you know that when it snowed? But it's so beautiful because, you know, did you know has this like openness, and then that when it snows sounds cold. And so the brightness gets darkened. And it's, you know, there's all this stuff in the lyrics about, you know, the light and the dark and the light hitting the gloom. And, you know, so it's so perfect. I'm sorry. Did you know that when it snows? Then we get our flat 6. My eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen. I love this kind of little rocking side to side vamp on this chord, E flat and F, before finally going back to the tonal center. If you don't know what the tonal center is, it's the main chord in the song, basically. It's kind of like where everything begins and ends. And what they do instrumentation wise is really nice. And that little gap, my eyes become large, and the whole production breathes, inhales, right?
Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen?
Drums. I like that fill. I just really like it. I love those hits. So everything kind of swells, doesn't it? It was kind of subdued. That's the word I was looking for, subdued. And I think the piano goes... Sorry. I think it does that. I'm not sure. Something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's very pretty. Okay, now this chorus. All right, features the flat 6 chord a lot. There. I know the song so well. I was like, okay. So we got, sorry, readjust your ears. It's a little lower. So this has so much soul. Baby. It's got this blues edge to it. I think, you know, he's singing like a minor third against this major chord, which is totally like something you would find in blues. Baby. And just gives it the pain, right? It's not baby, which sounds more sweet. Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. This melody is so good. Okay, why is that great? Sorry. Oh, there's so much mode mixture stuff going on. So, okay. You get this dominant 7th chord, which sounds, it's got a little sass to it. I don't know. Baby, I compare you to a kiss. There's this sense of relief, I don't know, whenever it goes to that kiss. Kiss. Kiss is on the flat 6. Yes. Kiss from a rose on the grave. So he's kind of going down, like he's going down minor. I love the little so medieval, right? On the grave. So he just did da da da, and it ends on this chord. So there's this minor, major thing, and then ooh, who loves the ooh? Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it. Wait, sorry. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels. Sorry, there's a few variations. Let me just make sure.
I can bring you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom.
Right, okay. That is it. So the second time, ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. So it skips the flat 6 that time. It has a little bit more of this, like, doesn't have as much pain, I feel like, as a result, because this chord is just so heavy. It feels a little bit more lifted. Stranger it feels, yeah, a little more psychedelic or something. And then now that your rose is in bloom, mimicking the da 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 vamp, right? A light hits the gloom on the grave. Every time it lands on that G, it's so great. So melody-wise, stranger it feels, yeah, love the yeah, right on that major third. Now that your rose. Great example of like when you sing the same melody pretty much, but then you just change the chord underneath it. You get to hear the melody in like a new way, a new context, and it gives it a different meaning, I feel like. So now that your sounds kind of strong. Now that your rose. But then when he starts to sing the melody again on the flat 6 chord, it feels more pained or tender or vulnerable. Roses in bloom, a light repetition, right? It's the gloom. So he's like he's setting you up. You're like waiting for the gray, right? For everything to come together. You're waiting. Then we get an interlude, and the instrumentation of these interludes is different every time.
A light hits the blue.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, there's vocal harmonies. They're really nice. I think they're in parallel, kind of underneath him. Underneath the
I can bring you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
I think, I'll have to confirm, I think that lower harmony goes, kiss from a rose on the grave, maybe. Kiss. It definitely goes, kiss from a rose. I'm not sure what happens right after this.
I can bring you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Oh, I think he joins up with himself in unison. Okay, so he goes, kiss. Oh, God, no wonder it's so. What is it? Kiss. This is like some kind of 7th chord or something. It's got this tension. Oh, I can just look at the thing. Yeah. Kiss, kiss from parallel 4ths. Kiss from a rose on the grave. And then he just kind of stays there, waits for his melody to join him, and then they go down together. Listen to that again.
I can bring you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah.
Not totally sure what's happened the second time.
Stranger it feels.
Stranger it feels,
Yeah.
Not sure if he goes yeah or if he doesn't.
Stranger it feels, yeah.
It's a little hard to say, but it might be stranger it feels, yeah, which is just like in kind of parallel, I think. Straight, more get it. Stranger it approximately.
Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah. And now that you're
Then he joins in with now that you're, and that is the melody at the very end. Now that your rose is in bloom. Everything is intentional.
yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Cool. Okay, now interlude. Oh, there's so many details in here. Okay, let's just call it the lute, because I don't know. It's probably just a guitar, right? But sounds like a lute. So the lute is so apparent here. I love that sound. It gives it this very graceful dance-like quality. The guitar's over here, kind of helping out. An octave. Yeah, same octave. Okay. Seal is harmonizing with himself again, but listen to when the bass comes in. Oops. Sorry. The bass is playing the whole time, but it's playing in a higher register at first, and then it goes down at the da da da. I love that. So first, a lot of things are in unison there. The doing the melody, da 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 da, and they kind of split. And this is one of my favorite harmonies that I like to sing along to in the car. That da da, it's a ha ha da da da, right? Ha. I don't know if I can do this at the same time. Because they're different rhythms. Da, 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 da. I bet you someone else here has done that. Yeah, in the car.
There is so much a man can tell me, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby.
Oh, the dynamics here are so great. All right, so there's some new vocal layers in this part. And this is, basically the second verse, but it's different than the first verse. It's going to be truncated and now it has this incredible swell.
So much a man can tell me.
But listen to Seal in the background. Whoa.
There.
I love that sort of cascading vocal layering, right? There. It's a third above.
There is so much a man can tell me, so much he can say.
I can't completely tell what he's doing after whoa, but he might be doing
so much he can say.
Almost sounds like he's saying can't deny, like a premonition.
Tell me so much he can say. You remain.
So he's setting you up to think it's going to be just like the first verse, right? Sorry, it's lower. You remain my power. Power on the flat 6 chord. Yeah. My power, my pleasure, my pain. Baby. I love this. It's so, it's, I think it's partly the rhythm, right? Because everything's been so fluid and quickly moving, It's complicated. You, my power, my pleasure, my pain. Right? It's just so primally on those beats. And then this also has so much soul going up the blues scale. Pentatonic. But against the flat 6 is what really makes it tick. Power, my pleasure, my pain. Every chord gets its own little da 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 So great. And then the way the whole production swells was brilliant. So well done, both Seal and Trevor.
There is so much a man can tell me, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain.
I'm just trying to figure out exactly what, is everyone just playing louder? Are they just getting louder or more elements coming in?
You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain.
I don't know. It's just the right amount of a crescendo. And the pain is so punchy. Pain! And the space they leave after it makes the pain even punchier, right? Because you have that contrast.
My pain, baby.
Great, just leaving him, baby, on his own. And then the instruments kind of follow.
Baby, to me, like
piano. That guitar, details, that guitar strum. I always love the way it's like a very visceral sound. Right at the beginning. Okay, the strings just came in. The strings just came in right there. And Seal is doing this like round with himself. Do you guys know what a round is? It's like when you have a melody and you have, you know, at least two people or two of yourselves, and one person starts singing, and then at a specific moment, the other person starts singing the same melody, but just a little later. And then you sing together over and over and over again, but everything's offset, and it creates harmonies. 3-part rounds are the best. And he's basically doing a round with himself a little bit. I guess it doesn't like repeat. So you could also just think of it as like just the same line, but sort of delayed. It's like a vocal delay. I mean, he says the whole thing. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny, but just a beat later. To me, like a grown addiction that I can't deny. I think he syncs up at one point, though. Oh, it's later. It's sorry. I think he just says, to me, you're like a grown addiction. Then he kind of ran out of space. So. Right? It's so, it just creates all this dimension. It's beautiful. And the strings feel like they're kind of doing that too. Right? There's like, it feels like they're following each other down this dun 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 dun. Sorry, one more time. Won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? I think this is the first time we've heard this, right? This is the beginning of sequence of, to me, you're like a grown addiction I can't deny. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? I love this. He breaks some pattern here. It's different. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Sorry, let's recontextualize. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? I don't even know if on babe, if there's like a note at the end of it, but sometimes I sing one like, won't you tell me it's unhealthy, baby, baby? But I can't really tell. He might just go, healthy, babe. I'm not sure. Which one do you do? Addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me is that healthy, babe? The way he sings that, it's so velvet. It's so gentle. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Right? He really backs off. It's really just a gentle laying down of that line. And then he's got a harmony that I would always sing along with. It's so pretty. I think it's just it's like a third above it or something. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? That just makes it even more beautiful somehow. Okay, so. Won't you tell me? I think it's because it makes the flat 6 chord have a 7th on it, and that's just making flat 6 even better. Won't you tell me it's won't you? Right, did I do that wrong? Yeah. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Is that not one of the most beautiful, like, 2 seconds of your life? Okay. Then, so this is like a new element. Then it's going to go back, though, to...
Did you know that when it snows, my eyes
strings.
become large and the light that you shine can't be seen?
Small detail here, but it makes a big difference. The first time he does, my eyes become large, and there's that inhale and the production, everything stops. But the second time, they just bulldoze right through it. My eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be. Is this the one where he goes, can't be seen? It might be the one where he goes, can't be seen.
And the light that you shine can't be seen.
No, it's not that one. There is a harmony on it. Mm-hmm. But that power, I feel like that momentum is so nice, and that contrast is so nice.
Eyes become large,
strings.
and the light that you shine can't be seen.
Okay, and I think the strings just did that theme that the piano did in the first, like, pre-chorus or going into the chorus, which is like the, like, something like that. Listen, I think a violin just goes and does it.
That you shine can't be seen. Baby!
It might not be exact, but it's thematic for sure. I love that. It's really, this is what's making the transition, right, into this part.
Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Not only are the strings kicking butt here, da 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 da, and they're harmonizing with themselves. Oops, wrong chord. Still pretty though. Sorry. I love that harmony. Shit, I keep doing that. All comes together. But Seal now is singing, I've been kissed by a rose on the... something like this. Underneath himself. So before, he didn't sing, I've been, he just let the melody go, I compare you to a, and then on Kiss, the harmony came in, but this time, it starts right away with, I've been kissed by a rose on the grave, right?
Rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah.
Yeah, I love the yeah. Another little like echo.
Now that your rose is in bloom.
Okay, now there's like a horn. I forgot about that. There's like a horn. Da, 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 da. Right.
Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Oh my God. How many of you have watched The Last Unicorn, the animated film from, I think it was the 80s? Could have been earlier, the 70s maybe. This bridge, this part of the bridge reminds me so much of America, who did all the music for that film. It just has that feeling. Okay. Oh my God, the arrangement. All right, so I feel like I'm hearing some pads. Pads just add so much like spirit, matter and ethereal kind of matter to everything. And then the guitar is playing this melody so sweetly that like one theme, da 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 da. But the oboe now, instead of playing that melody, is doing its own thing, and it sounds so mournful. Da 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 da. Excuse me. Okay. Ooh, it's a ninth. I love ninths. Add ninths to everything. everything will be okay. Now, do you hear the pads? Now that's a callback to the I become the oboe's actually playing that melody, right?
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose.
Okay, instrumentation sounds like strings, very like kind of marcato, and then acoustic guitar and lots of seals. And I love he's doing this cascading thing again of I've been, you know, harmonies, sometimes in unison, but offset from himself. What a great idea. I wonder how he came up with that. But the chords here, now everything feels a little different. Like it feels like a key change. I'm not sure it is, but let's just see what's going on. Stay on F. I've been kissed by a rose on the... Sorry, it's so low. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. If I should fall, would it all go away? Or something. On the grave. Okay, so I think it kind of switches to F major. I'm not sure how that happened, but I love that shift. It feels more hopeful here, right? It's got this brightness. You know, when he says my eyes become large, like I feel like his eyes are large here. Like I've been kissed by a rose. So this F major, C major, B flat. And this is a much more straightforward chord progression. This is not mode mixture at all. It's F major. The 1 chord, the 5, and the 4. But he makes it so pretty. So it's all his harmonies, I think, that are really making this special.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose.
I think there's like 3-part harmony happening. These like, I'm feeling like I'm hearing these whole chords that he's singing. Okay. I've been... Big jump. Yes. Doesn't that sound right? Sorry. Those on the gray. Yeah, I think that's, I've always loved that part. I love 3-part harmony, but the way he's doing it isn't so obvious.
I've been kissed by a rose.
I think it just kind of happens because he's got like these 3 intersecting lines that, you know, they all kind of hold their own melodically, and they just, I think, happen to make some of these major minor chords almost by accident in a way. It's like
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. If I should kiss by a rose on the grave.
okay, so we got one part going wait.
By a rose, by a rose.
I want to do the whole thing.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. If I should kiss by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose.
Okay, so that main line that I was always hearing is, I've been kissed by a rose on the grave, goes down. I've been kissed by a rose. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose. But then we got... It's the one that's offset. Sorry. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. Ah, he holds it out and then he goes down.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. And if I should kiss by a rose on the grave, I've been kissed by a rose on the grave.
Okay, then there's a higher one though.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. And if I should kiss by a rose on the grave, I've been...
I love that part. I've been kissed by a rose. It's so good. And then it really nicely changes key back to G here. Kissed by a rose on the grave. I think that's a it's not the easiest transition to make, but it sounds amazing.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. There is so much a man can tell me, so much
Strings.
he can say. You remain.
I love another variation is when he goes, the third verse just starts off with, there is so much a man can tell you, right? There is so much a man can tell you, so much he can say, and you remain. He just goes right into the ooh. Love that, because it's almost like the first time it was a really long verse. Second time it was truncated and ended in my power, my pleasure, my pain. This time it's even more truncated. So it just feels like you're going through some cycle, but each time you have less and less time. So I just feel like it creates this sense of like urgency or a little bit of agitation in a way. It's really exciting though, because you just never really know.
I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. There is so much a man can tell me, so much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain.
Another detail I freaking love is at the end of Pain. Remember the first time he goes, baby. This time it's just silent, except for, I can only imagine is maybe a drum or maybe it's them hitting the piano. Something goes like a heartbeat. I love that.
So much he can say. You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain.
Oh, great. And I just noticed that the piano goes cha-cha. Kind of like a premonition.
Power, my pleasure, my pain.
I think, or maybe it's up here. Or maybe it's here. Wait. I love that. Oh,
My
details.
Power, my pleasure, my pain.
And the way the strings and the piano go, very syncopated, sort of like interjecting into the space ahead of the beat. To me. Okay, now I think we're going to get a lot of vocal layers here. And what's that chord? Why is it so good? I feel like it has a sus feeling to it. Something about it. It might be this chord. measure my pain. But it's got the F in the bass, so I don't know what that is. To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Another amazing like hesitation instead of won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Because won't you tell me it's unhealthy, babe? Oh, freaking love that stuff.
To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny.
Oh, listen to that. Okay, focus on the background voice there, the harmony. He is saying to me, you're like a grown addiction, but it's offset, and then he ends it in like this ah.
My pain. To me, you're like a grown addiction.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm gonna just nerd out for a second. The first time he does that sort of round with himself, he goes, to me, you're like, to me, you're like. Okay, so 2 beats went by before he started the second voice. To me, you're like, to me, you're like, to me, you're like. This one is to me, to me. So again, everything's like kind of closing in on him. Everything's getting quicker and quicker.
To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny.
Yeah. Okay, we're listening to it one more time.
To me, you're like a grown addiction that I can't deny. Now, won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? But did you
Oh, he does say baby. He does. Love that. Okay, it's so pretty.
know that when it snows?
Okay, then that kind of vocal delay continues here, right? Did you know that when it snows? He doesn't need an actual delay. He's his own delay.
Won't you tell me, is that healthy, baby? But did you know
Strings and
that when it
horns.
snows, my eyes become a large and the light that you shine can't be seen? Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Okay, a little detail with the drums here. So the this is a common song structure thing. The last chorus, you double it up. You do it 2 times in a row. And the way they do this is really nice though, because it feels like they skip ahead a bit to start it over.
Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Just for a couple beats or something, the drums do this really cool rhythmic pattern. I feel like it's like a polyrhythm or something. So I can pay you to a kiss from a rose. Yeah, it's like every 2 instead of every 3. Kiss from a rose, which gives it this almost more like straightforward drumming pattern, like if you were doing like 4/4. And I don't know, I just love those little details.
Now that your rose is in bloom,
The horn.
light hits the gloom on the grave. Yes, I can pay you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Yeah.
Ooh, the more I get of you, the stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Let's talk about this violin. There's so many more horns, or maybe just one horn in this song. I don't remember hearing a horn. It sounds kind of like a French horn. French horns have this like really smooth, also kind of longing sound. But it's doing a lot of melodic stuff in the left channel. And then you got the strings that do this really nice, like explicit expression of the modal interchange that's making this song twist so much. It goes,
Light hits the
okay, listen to this long string.
that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
Even before it does the da-da, it's doing some really pretty stuff, holding out a note over chord changes.
Stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose
Just love that rising up feeling. You don't quite know when it's going to go the next note. And it chromatically goes up and ends on the major third, which is, it's highlighting the mode mixture.
Yeah. Now that your roses in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
I just heard another Seal I've never heard before. He's like, duh. Listen.
Roses in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave.
I love this very last note because, you know, they could have ended the song so many different ways. They chose to do this sort of like lonely, soulful, like spotlight on him kind of, you know, free time, almost ad-libbing kind of sound. Now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the, and then gray, and then all the G major chord kind of surrounds it with a guitar, I think, and maybe his voice. Wait. Gray. That's what it is. So his vocal harmony goes gray over his gray. So you get the major, but the strings, which persist well after he's done singing, are just this big, grand, open fifth. Just this. And it feels like, it makes it feel like the end isn't really the end. You know, like if it was just like gray, that feels more like the end, but the fact that it's just open and empty feels like the story is not over, at least to me.
On the grave.
So amazing. Whoa. I feel like I still missed so many things. But I'm going to go to the chat and see what y'all are saying, how everything's going over there. Good. Yes, he did play this live, for sure. It was gorgeous. And his backup singer that was doing the harmonies, well, they had, he had like a kind of a vocalist who was, you know, doing a lot of his harmonies. And then also they had two drummers, and one of the drummers, he was playing a lot of hand drums, and he had shaker, and he would also on this song sing some of the harmonies too. So there was at least 3-part harmony, and they did, I mean, maybe they didn't do every single layer, but they captured like the essence, you know. They definitely did the that cascade and everything. It was so great. I want to thank Gavin for your donation. Thank you so much. And Mangus says this song inspired Tony Willy Henrik Virtanen, one of the world's best music producers, to create Sandstorm. Not Darude. Is it a different Sandstorm? Either way, I love it. Inspiration. Hello, Combino X twins. Go wait, Combino X wins. Is that right? Hello. Hey George, it's live, not pre-recorded, but everyone can watch it afterwards, and then it will be like pre-recorded. I'm gonna pull down this piano thing. Come back to the middle. Oh man, is there anything I missed that you wanted me to go over? I'm trying to be thorough. I just love the song so much. I feel like if you wanted to study arranging, this one is a really good one to study. especially since it combines, kind of like rock instruments with orchestral instruments and does it so, so well. And I really feel like every verse, every pre-chorus, every chorus, every interlude, the arrangement's different. Homogeneous, but still different. The strings are doing slightly different things. They're expressing the chords differently. The oboe might take the melody, but then the guitar might take the melody the other time, and the oboe plays a different thing. The guitar strumming patterns might change. There's pads that sometimes come in. The drums might sometimes be there. They might sometimes not. I mean, but it's so, so tastefully done. Yeah, it's live. Cool. All right, should we do just a quick little Q&A? Is there anything you want to ask? If you want to suggest songs for this series going forward, you can join my Patreon. I have a big spreadsheet that people can add songs to. And sometimes I might pick a song of my own, but I'll let you vote on it there as well. But I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to doing something weekly. I've tried other weekly things and they haven't worked out, and I think it's because I need to be here with you guys in real time and doing something that, analyzing a song that I really, really love and know. I think it's going to be really great. Yeah. And if you want to know more about this flat 6 chord I keep talking about, I made 2 videos about it. It's called My Favorite Chord, Part 1 and Part 2. And also Rick Beato did a video on Kiss from a Rose that's really great. And he loves the song too. So he's nerding out. And he got Seal on FaceTime at the end of that video. So they're talking about it. And it's really, really cool. So definitely go check that out as well. And if you are thinking about going to see Seal live, I recommend it. It was a really, really nice show. I got to be really close too, and that was neat. I've never been that close to a musician. There were a couple times I almost touched him, but I didn't want to be one of those people that just reaches out and grabs somebody, and people were doing it, but I was like, I don't think I can do that. I'm sure he's used to it, but I did after the show. I was picking up my friend who got me the ticket. And I drove past. Seal was walking to his bus, and he's still in his white suit, and he was doing this. He was I don't know what he was doing, but he was having fun. And so I rolled the window down. I just said, that was one of the most beautiful shows I've ever been to. Thank you so much for your music. And I blew a kiss to him, and he was like, oh, thanks. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. Hans asks, Ixie, what kind of emotion does the song evoke for you? For me, it's always been very complex and ambiguous. That's a great question. Yeah, there's a lot of emotions there. I mean, in some ways, he kind of goes over it. He's like, you remain my power, my pleasure, my pain. It's all of that, right? There's definitely pain in that song. There's beauty and wonder in that song to me. There's tenderness, it feels, I always thought it was about, romantic love, or did I always say it was romantic love? I can't say. Maybe not always, but I always knew it was about love in some way. I didn't know all the lyrics when I was 9, so I didn't really hear the addiction part or, the high, not the pill or anything. Some people thought it was about drugs. I don't know. I think it might be reading a little far into it. I don't know what Seal has to say about it. There's an it feels elegant, but also really raw and genuine. I don't know. It's a great question. Do I think the sax solo will make a comeback? In general, I've not given that any thought. No comment. But now all I can hear in my head is Careless Whispers, which wasn't even a solo. It was just a main instrument. But yeah. Do you guys know about the sexy sax man? I don't think he's doing it anymore, but he used to dress up like Kenny G and go into public places and play Careless Whispers over and over again, shirtless. and he would always get kicked out by police, and he would just keep playing and ignore them. It's pretty funny. Wonderful. Hey, fat and sweaty Sloss Eddie. Hey, Ixie. Just hopped on. I'm trying to figure out where I can stuff my piano box. Just upgraded to Kawai ES120 and Roland FP60X. Oh, cool. Super happy with the Kawai, not so much the Roland. Interesting. I'm actually borrowing a Roland 60X right now because my Korg broke and I'm trying to figure out what to do next. So someone was really nice to lend this to me for a short time, and I don't love the keys, the action. I'm struggling with the action. It's just, every keyboard has different action, and for me, my favorite action that I played at Guitar Center was the Yamahas. So this one's a little bit shallow and kind of buttery feeling. I don't know. Robert Jones says the flat six brings me to tears through every style of music. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Oh, Alem. I missed it. What makes the song sound medieval? Oh, great question. Okay. Well, I do think a lot of it's the instrumentation. Because, if I just play it like... How do I do this? That doesn't really sound medieval to me. It sounds pretty modern. So I think what makes it sound medieval is the instrumentation. I think it's the fact that there's this guitar or something that sounds like a lute, and it's the tone of it. It's the one that goes. It's playing it stylistically like a lute. Or maybe it is a lute. Wouldn't that be crazy? What if it is a lute? What if you got a lute player? So that does it. And then I think it's also the oboe and the flutes. Or was there flute? I said there was a flute, and now I'm like, I don't remember actually talking about a flute when we were going through it. So maybe it was the horn I was thinking of. I can't remember now. Okay, well, the oboe and the French horn maybe might also do that. It really brings out the elegance. And the other thing I would say is possibly the time signature. It's like 3/4 or 6/8, depends on how you want to think about it. But you got this. So maybe that reminds us of, like waltz dancing or something, and puts us back in time. And then just the way like Seal sings the first part, how he sings I don't know. I don't know if it's really the harmony itself. It's not like, I don't know. I haven't studied that kind of music. So maybe if someone watching this knows, did they do a lot of mode mixture in medieval times? I don't feel like they did, but I don't know. If I think of like a medieval scale, I might think of like Dorian or something. Like, like, aren't you going to Scarborough Fair? I don't know. Yeah. The Bird Collective says it is the chord progression for you. Really? Interesting. Maybe they did some stuff with resolving to the major tonic chord. I just don't know it. I mean, that's the Super Mario cadence. Or, doesn't it make you feel better? I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like Adam Neely would be the better person to answer that one because he knows a lot about music history and I don't. Penny asks, would I call this a pop song? Yeah, I would. I would call it a pop song. But it's got a lot more, I think, depth in some ways. The harmony is a bit unusual for pop. A lot of pop does not dabble in mode mixture. Rock definitely does. I don't even know what pop really is. I mean, you could argue that rock is pop music, right? It's not classical, it's not jazz, it's popular music, but I don't know. The flat six, yes, the flat six does sometimes show up in pop music. A lot of pop music though is in a major key. And the flat six comes from minor, so not as often. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Cool. All right, any other burning questions? And then okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks to those of you that donated to help keep this series going. And I'll see you next week at the same time, 1 to 2 p.m. Central. We went a little over because this song is so great. Or I guess just because that means a lot to me and it has so many layers. But we'll see in the future. We might go over again. Who am I kidding? Great. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to chatting more about the song in the comments once the live stream concludes. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I just released another OK Computer video of, Radiohead. So go check that one out if you have 45 minutes to spare. All right, y'all. Have a good one. I will see you soon. Mwah.